welcome to our YouTube channel. This is MAP, Migration to Asia Peace. Asylum seekers in Korea go through difficulties every day due to language barrier and lack of information. MAP's Peace Board project aims to support asylum seekers to overcome such difficulties and get on with everyday life in safety. Covering 10 crucial topics to know, such as application for refugee status, immigration office, health, education and labor. This series has subtitles in English, Arabic, French and Russian. Disclaimer: the content is not legal advice. If you have any questions, please contact MAP. Today's episode will be dedicated to the Ministry of Justice Support Program and its application process. As noted in the 4th episode, all asylum seekers are prohibited by the Ministry of Justice from all work activities for the first 6 months since application. Instead of granting a work permit during this period, the Ministry of Justice provides 3 support programs: residential support, medical expense support, and living expense support. Even those of you that have applied for refugee status are still required to hand in the designated application form to the refugee division of your local immigration office in order to receive the services listed above. Please refer to the episode 3 for information on the responsibilities of each division in the immigration office. It is necessary for you to submit the application form and be confirmed as a qualified beneficiary in order for you to receive Ministry of Justice's support service. Please be noted that regardless of if you answered yes for living expense support in the process of refugee application, you will be required to enroll for Ministry of Justice program. Thus, you are expected to visit different locations for application depending on your status at the time of application. For those asylum seekers that are yet to complete their foreign registration, please visit the refugee division of the same immigration office that you have visited for refugee application. On the other hand, for those that have completed their foreign registration, please visit the refugee division of the local immigration office designated at your registered address. First, let's take a look at residential support. The only de facto residential support provided by the Ministry of Justice is the Immigration and Foreign Support Center. The center can accommodate up to 150 people each year, and it is located in Unseudong, Junggu, Incheon, Yeongdongjo Island, where Incheon International Airport is located. The Immigration and Foreign Support Center provides accommodation and medical support to residents and provides programs for social integration such as Korean language and society program. The center caters for asylum seekers, humanitarian status holders, recognized refugees such as resettled refugees, and spouse and minor children of all those listed for the maximum accommodation period of 6 months. However, in the rare conditions of residents' health and their dependents, the center grants up to 3 months of residence extension. All applications must be made in person. Once you submit your application to the Immigration and Foreign Support Center or the Refugee Division of the Immigration Office, the head of the center will review your qualifications and notify you of the results. Your application form can be found under Application for Living Facility. Please refer to the Immigration and Foreign Support Center or the Immigration Office for the form. All download the form from Hi Korea as informed in the 4th episode. Any of those that wish to stay at the center along with their spouse and minor children will be required to submit a family relations certificate from their home country. If not possible, please bring your refugee application document, all your passport, all foreign registration card in place. For those of you that do not hold a passport or foreign registration card, please submit your refugee status application receipt notice. Next is the medical expenses support. The Ministry of Justice provides 2 types of medical expenses support for asylum seekers: humanitarian status holders, and recognized refugees, including resettled refugees. Health screening expenses support and emergency medical expenses support. The Ministry of Justice supports basic health screening expenses, including tuberculosis and syphilis examinations for those asylum seekers that fail to access such medical services due to financial difficulties. You can also apply for emergency medical expenses support in case of unexpected operations or hospitalization that may lead to unaffordable costs. Emergency medical expenses support, as well as residential support program, requires you to submit designated documents to the refugee division of your local immigration office. Monetary support will be provided to those that qualify with the maximum of 1 million Korean won per person of any medical expense bigger than 50,000 Korean won. For instance, up to a 60,000 Korean won medical bill, 10,000 Korean won will be supported by the Ministry of Justice, leaving the applicant with a maximum deductible of 50,000 Korean won. Please keep in mind that health screening expenses support is still provided even if the deductible is 50,000 Korean won or smaller. The biggest determining factor of the extent of support is the available remainder of Ministry of Justice annual budget at the time of your application. The Ministry of Justice keeps a limited budget dedicated to medical support, and therefore the more applicants request support, the less of Ministry of Justice budget will be left available. To avoid any inconveniences, please contact the Refugee Division of the Immigration Office before submitting your application. Call the 1345 Immigration Contact Center and ask the 1345 agent for a direct connection to the Refugee Division of the Immigration Office to contact the public officer in charge. Or ask the 1345 agent to confirm the information for you. Please refer to the 4th episode for further details. Once your applications are accepted and confirmed, the designated amount of payment will be provided directly to the healthcare institution you received treatment from and not your personal account. There are a total of 6 documents required to apply for medical expenses, including an application for medical expense assessment, a passport or foreigner registration card, a medical certificate, a statement of medical expenses, 6 months bank book transaction statement, and a copy of the hospital's bank book. The application form for medical assistance can be found at the Immigration Office Refugee Division or on the High Korea website, along with the residential support application form. For those of you that do not hold a passport or foreigner registration card, please submit your refugee status application receipt notice. In applying for medical screening expenses support, you are not required to submit a medical certificate. In principle, the applicant himself or herself should visit and apply, but if he or she is unavailable due to certain health conditions, the applicant's spouse, directly related family, or lawyer can apply. An additional power of attorney must be submitted in such cases. Finally, let's look at the living expenses support. Asylum seekers that suffer from direct difficulties in engaging in economic activities due to conditions such as illness, pregnancy, child rearing, or old age can apply for living expenses support within the first 6 months since refugee status application. Those past 6 months since refugee status application that can obtain their work permit can also apply, given that they are under certain conditions that make it very difficult or impossible for them to engage in productive activities. In 2022, 225 of the total of 11,539 asylum seekers applied to the Ministry of Justice for living expenses support, of which 177 were finally selected as the beneficiaries. The amount of support for living expense in 2022 has not yet been disclosed, so the following information is based on records from 2021, as you can see in the table. Single-person households that do not reside in the Immigration and Foreign Support Center received 432,900 Korean won per month, whereas those that did receive 216,450 Korean won. Like so, residents of the support center will normally receive less than 50% of what is provided for others. If you have a spouse, underage child under the age of 19, all dependents including parents over the age of 65 years, your monthly living expense will be decided based on the number of household members. However, any of those families of 5 or more members will equally be provided with 5 people's worth of support. The Ministry of Justice budget for living expenses is set to pay 433,000 won to 591 people for 3 months every year. Considering there are cases where the support extends to 4 to 5 months, it is clear that the beneficiaries of the Ministry of Justice support program are significantly limited. In the case of applying on the family basis, the main applicant would apply as the representative by clarifying the details of their dependents' family members on the application form. All applications reviewed from the 15th to the 18th of each month after the payments are made on the 20th of the following month. For instance, if one's refugee status application is submitted on the 10th of January and the living expense support application on the 4th of February, the application will be reviewed by the 18th of the same month, and any potential payment will be made starting on the 20th of March. You can only apply for living expenses support for the first 6 months since refugee application, which in the above stated application case would be until the 19th of July. Therefore, in the case discussed earlier, living expenses will be supported for a total of 4 months from March to June, given that the same asylum seeker signed up for living expenses support the day after their refugee status application on the 11th of January. The period of expense support will be extended to the total of 5 months from February to June. Please keep noted that in the exceptional cases such as pregnancy, old age, or serious illnesses, the period of monetary support can be extended up to 2 times for the maximum of 3 additional months each time. There are a total of 4 documents to be prepared to apply for support for living expenses: an application for living expenses and other assistances, a confirmation, a passport or foreigner ID, and a copy of your domestic bank book. If you have a dependent medical condition or any other additional condition to prove, please submit the relevant documents as well. The application form can be found in the Immigration Office's Refugee Division or on the High Korea website, along with the form for medical assistance and residential support. If you don't hold a passport or foreigner registration card, please submit a refugee status application receipt notice. The result will be delivered through text message, and the payment will be made to the bank account of the selected beneficiary that has been submitted with the application form. Most asylum seekers experience a lot of difficulties in opening a Korean bank account under their own name. The absence of personal bank account can lead to difficulties in applying for and receiving support from the Ministry of Justice. The conditions of opening an account may vary by the bank or its branch, but it is common to grant asylum seekers a limited transaction account based in if they hold both a passport and a foreign registration card. In order to upgrade this to a regular account, you will need additional documents for financial transactions such as employment contracts, salary statements, and health insurance payment confirmations according to the Ministry of Justice guidelines for refugee affairs. If an applicant does not have a bank account due to unavoidable circumstances, living expenses support can be provided in cash by presenting relevant documents to prove the exceptional condition. If you notice that appropriate actions are not being taken according to the guidelines, please ask relevant organizations for assistance. The first 6 months since refugee status application before obtaining your work permit can easily cause serious economic difficulties for asylum seekers and their families, despite its limited extent. Several support programs are being provided by the Korean government for those suffering. Please make full use of such support services using the episode as your guide. Please contact MAP in cases of inquiry. Thank you for your time and attention.